Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. It's Shirley with Spirit of Matter. And I had a lovely day working at the garden, building my half moon, refining, beginning to build a slope, okay, beginning to perfect them because there are a couple of techniques with the half moons. Some people just dig a shape of a half moon, you dig it into the ground, and then the soil, you put it's kind of like a fence, okay? And that's good enough. Some people dig holes within the half moon, okay? So, and plant things. And there's another way which you build a half moon and then you use it like a slope, okay? Anyway, you build that with the slope, but here the emphasis is on the slope. And that could be like a mini pond. So I began to kind of play with that. And in the meantime, got to speak with the neighbors and stuff. So that was quite fascinating. Still trying to find a home for a working woman in the neighborhood because she would need housing independently of ability to work. And I'll see if I get, people that know about solutions. So I had a conversation. First of all, tomorrow, as far as I understand, is supposed to be a ceasefire in northern Israel. I don't know what about Gaza, okay? Because it doesn't seem like all we hear about is northern Israel, and I don't think that's like the only frontier. Um, but we don't hear about anything else. And I had a conversation where immediately I realized that, oh, the Pluto that's in the fifth house of Israel, which is basically exposing all the things that were done on the land of Israel regarding to entertainment, creativity, fertility, children, gambling, fun activities, hobbies, and basically any abuse that took place there, because that's Pluto. So Aquarius is neurology. It is also the IVF, technological means of fertility. It's a nervous system. Okay, and it is also our knees, actually. Very interesting. But also cloning. It's a conversation, right? And because of cloning, that's the connection to DNA. And MK Ultra, which is a form of mind control, infiltrating nervous system, anything like that is going to be exposed. And this is in square relations to the eighth house of Israel. Now, eighth house is death, trauma, funding, hidden wealth, investments, receiving funding from other countries that, for example, may have the moon to the sun of Israel, like Netherlands. And at the same time, Uranus is conjuncting the sun of Israel, okay? So, eighth house is also house of death. And while there are attempts to use the trine between Pluto and Uranus to have control over the revolution in Israel, that is only successful if we adhere to both the Deneb Algedi, which is wealth redistribution, and Beta Persei, which is the understanding the connection between the soil, the voice, the importance to speak, the testimony, a good environment, safety and sensuality, willing consent, willing consent, willing consent. Okay? Again, fertility, water, humidity. Okay? And the decapitation of leaders. Soul al Gol, right? The good old Chinese saying that the losing the mandate of the heaven absolutely can apply here, but we must remember with Beta Persei Uranus, the sky, Uranus, sky god, that punishes the land, loses the mandate of the heaven, be it Mao Zedong, whatever, or we the people. And we must remember that, because what is the land? The land is yin. The land is Venus, the land is moon, the land is fertility, the land is women, the land is that which is the feminine, which is exactly what the cults of the Masonry punish. Okay? Now, for the state of Israel, that could be a death sentence. Benefiting from human trafficking, that is sexpionage, that is with electrocution, rape, torture, psychiatric tagging of survivors, selling to people that they forever have to live with the disease rather than recover, even if it's trauma. That dumb fuckery can get Israel done. Okay? And using external funding for human trafficking, okay? And this is also creating divisions within marriages in Israel. Okay, that's how it came up. Someone said, I feel that there are power struggles it's like they create on purpose power struggles between relations. And she was religious and said, I just pray to God, okay? And I'm like, that sounds 8th house to me. And I'm like, oh, 8th house of Israel. That's what we feel, and the citizens feel it in their marital 8th houses, okay? Now that the moon is, I think, is in my 8th house, then I feel it too, okay? But mine is Libra, but still I reside in Israel, and that is felt. Again, all those who benefit from pitting people against each other, both from the feminist side, okay? Tamagotchi is not a technological solution, like housing first. You can't technology everything away, okay? You then like, oh, you're running for your life from your ex-husband. Here, we have a technological solution for you. Death, electrocution, rape, and MK Ultra. That's what it's at, okay? What's your technology, like a Tamagotchi against murder? Like, we don't understand that, and they keep ignoring, okay, any attempts for people to speak up. And that is, for example, if a woman wants a divorce, the law in Israel forces her to pit herself against a man and sue him for money that now he needs. Okay, first of all, his wife left him. He needs to live alone. He needs support system. He needs to be able to have well-being. He needs money like a child right now, because it's healing the inner child. And then he's being sued to provide for the children when the state was ushering women to marry and have children. Okay? Not providing housing for solitary men or women. Same as Netherlands. What did Mark Rutte say? The last taboo in Netherlands. Doesn't matter. I don't know what his relationship status to date. It's not my business. I know he made a movie on it, but the thing is that he lived for a very long time as a solitary man in The Hague, and he said the last taboo in Netherlands is for a person to live alone. If you can't accommodate sedna, if you can't accommodate for the solitary person, that, all children are born from rape. In a society like this, all children are born from rape. That has tremendous implication, and that perpetuates war. So Netherlands sees that one way. Israel sees that in a very lethal way. And so many people are, if you are invested in the pharmaceuticals that you think is going to give breakthrough therapy for psychosis, it's like it's housing first and to believe the patient. Okay. Then you keep investing in Dr. Mengele solutions. Of course, it's not going to yield. I mean, don't expect that to yield. And if your retirement depends on that, okay, that's something to consider. If your money came from real estate projects that bully people, scare the women, steal the children, bring in many people that then people say evacuate and deport, and then they ruin entire city and build something else. If your real estate is invested in human trafficking hubs that are espionage hubs, okay, don't expect that bubble pops, okay? Especially if you're invested in that real estate in Israel, or if Israel is receiving funding from that, which it does, from Netherlands. Okay? Masonry is architectures, the structures of our housing. If those structures are rape-based, torture-based, okay, the people that work in construction, those things, there comes a time where every region needs to face other problems. For Israel, this is a big problem. People think about stolen soil. I'm sorry, but those who killed their children and mutilated genitalia, I was just talking with an Arab man today, and he asked me, you live alone? I say, you have no idea how much time I spend in the village I lived, educating people not to ask woman never if she lives alone. Then he starts telling me, but what if a woman, let's say, has children? How will she make a living? And I tell him, well, community has to support her, because if you cannot support woman who lives alone and without extorting her things from her, or woman with children without extorting her, then what will happen? The women will run, the children will run or be killed, and then men die by the hundreds. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because he's one of those Bedouin villages where the men die by the hundreds now. And how will a woman be nice to a person? Say, you talk nice. Other women, they say, oh, go away. They say, of course they say go away. Because they're afraid you're going to extort them and so on, okay? And then I think to myself, in a culture where they do genitalia mutilation, both to the men or women, how will a woman explore her sexuality, and how will she explain the man? I like this, I like that. Or how will the man, okay? Then they don't have good intimacy between them. Then the men try to think, how do I get, the energy out? Okay, maybe I pay money and, okay? And so If I think go to Netherlands, where it's clone culture, but the incest cults and the oppression of women and anything that is the feminine, then of course, if a woman is, and the shaming for sexuality while raping and torturing for espionage, it's not just Netherlands, but, and calling it sex work, and then legalizing supposedly sex work, which is not, okay? That's what Hansa Manma exposed, and he lost his passport. And he still did not understand why the woman that was going through this could not have sex with him. And she couldn't even explain to him because she didn't even know what's happening with her. So that is... and then men feel deprived, deserted, alone, isolated, like they cannot make contribution, always feared, always distrust, okay? And women, they feel like they don't even exist. So Netherlands has Moon Al Gol, and she's very supportive of Israel. But the thing is that right now is exposed both for the moon in Netherlands, Uranus on the moon of Netherlands, and for the sun of Israel. So for the people of Netherlands and for the leaders of Israel. But the thing is that Venus for Israel is in Cancer, which is a sign of people. Leaders are of the people. But the thing is that how they train our leaders is by these dead camps, this MK Ultra. And that type of masonry is architecture, okay? But the way that they train masonry, the way that the values of masonry are values that serve controlling humanity and oppressing humanity, and everybody suffers. I just think about this whole Uranu Algol in the 8th house of Israel and the moon of Netherlands as the time where I was basically fighting intense sexual assaults against me from afar, from like astral, and then realized that they wanted me to basically to be like espionage, to spy over Peter the First when he went to politics because he spoke against the WHO, and they didn't give up, because when that didn't work, they were aiming for the sun, for Royce. And first of all, the experience is incredibly confusing. You are tortured, deprived, you cannot turn to help because you will get attacked in psychotic and will be murdered with medications and other tortures. And Peter, mind you, he vouched for Deming. So Deming had the issue with Hansa Manma that lost his passport for trying to expose dumb fuckery, okay, of intelligence. And all I did was just removing the sexual assaults from me, and then poof, eureka, okay? Remember, because memories came back. Whoever did that did not want me to remember, and that is very very weird. And those things are planned sometimes years ahead, okay? And I see that Peter, same way women are murdered after they exceed violence, okay? Peter was murdered like that. And Wilders, they hold him hostage. So if Peter would receive they offered him ultimatum, either go like Wilders or no protection at all. Of course, it's Peter being Peter. He says, of course, not at all, because I won't be able to speak, which is exactly what I'm dealing with. Kibinemat, okay? Like, you're not going to silence me, go fuck yourself. And he got murdered. And mind you, you think, okay, 5 bullets. And what I saw was the emotions of the person that did that. And he was a very emotional person. And he was framed for the show. He was framed in a certain way. And whoever convinced this Dario Delano, they framed him in a way. And I know that because, I'm sorry, but this Idunov, I know he's also MK Ultra, he's also going through torture, he's also this, okay? It's not about creating division or anything like that. But this person that did that to me, he framed when he mentioned, first of all, he did these nudges that they do, that you think is intuition. I didn't know how to differentiate. I know a little bit more the more I am in contact with the soil. But he framed Peter as that person was looking at murder cases and so on, solving crime and this. And then he crossed over because he was referring to the Korvan out. So he framed Peter in a way that, and then he tried to say for like, I am like, for me, he tried to take it like to agree with the crookery, okay? Like to see he is a crook, I am a crook, you are a crook, kind of like that, okay? Which I was not, but that was like, that was the dumb fuckery, because he tried to see what would be my motive. Okay, will I go for money? Will I go for this? Will I go for that? And I left, I was TA, I left this job and I began to speak. And it was not for litigation. For Peter it's different, he was born inside the cult. But the thing is that the way that they must have got the person to murder him was not just, they say, oh, it's for the money, you did it for the money. No, they framed him. They convinced him ideologically that this person is like this, is like that, is like that, is like that, is like that. Then they show you another thing and they control the image of what you see and when. And they know you will get dissociation. Like if I see, Peter vouching for the mink, immediately, what, the mink? On bended knee for that? And you get mad, right? And then what they do, they find these points for a person would be triggered. And the thing about it was not the shooting, but the emotion, the way he was framed. But the emotions of the person of the shooting, that I don't know if this Delano guy even knew him. But he didn't die from that. 9 days later, there is the Hans Amendment received from the UN, more acclamations, 15 July, and then was the same date Peter died. Now, there could be many things. I'm not going to get into that sensitive topic. Of course, after 5 bullets in your body, in your brain, perhaps even assisted death is okay, not to keep prolonged suffering, but that is not right. This is not the point. Still, the date is interesting, and the understanding that he spoke against WHO and from Israel. And the thing is, that Nevo person, okay, he likes Liverpool, he likes Hapoel, and Peter loved Ajax. So this is red and this is red. But the red is rosy, it's Rosicrucian. So they like to turn, how Jack say, black on black for Jewish money. It's not Jewish money, it's they cut dividends to Vatican. If those you cut dividends to, they are the boss, right? Because it's protection. But a structure, right? But the thing is, they turn a red on red. And then they turn a situation but it didn't work. Then they tried to nudge me, like, talk to Royce, talk to Royce, talk to Royce. I was like, what do you want from me? And they mentioned, when I was in Netherlands for 3 years, they mentioned the Christmas. Now, I didn't think about it because I did a channeling experiment. And for me, from my childhood, because for those who don't understand what is technology of reading the thoughts of people, don't be too scared. But the thing is, it's all waves and electricity, and they have a range way wider. So sensors that are sensitive enough can transmit that. Some good sensors that are sensitive enough are people that went through intense trauma and electrocution, that their sensory experience becomes changes the range. Okay, that's not the only way to develop. You can develop ESP or extrasensory perception in benefic ways. Go tantric, spend the time in nature, enjoy life, absorb life. You get better information. And also when you do that in the MK Ultra way, the soul of the person is fragmented, so will the information. They cannot comprise full picture, so everybody is controlled by everybody. That's why I say this Ido guy, they programmed him, he did horrid things. And all based of betrayal. Then they tell you that after they rape a person, so this is basically root chakra, it's the survivals. Okay, so person try to compensate and they lose connection with crown. Crown is not just the crown like royalty, but crown is also the sense of belonging to something bigger than myself. It's spirituality, call it whatever, okay? And so person becomes what? Greedy. And relational trauma, so either they go to avoidance or they go to over-attachment. That's how this works. Now, of course, for these people, they grow in death camps where they have to do it to each other. Okay? I don't think Peter was exempt from these death camps. Okay? And those things are filmed. But if a child is born, it's like a concentration camp. A child is born into that. That's the two, okay? That I have to work with the dark and the light. And the way out, death, in torture, and within that to operate, for everything you do, they turn it off. We did the misdaad verslaggever for the face with the fingerprint, with digital footprint, right? For what they do with the control and all these things. So you do think they turn it over. You do think they turn it over. So you see how, because Netherlands has moon on the soul of Israel, this is now exposed because Uranus is going over this. And you must be able to speak. You must be able to have connection with soul. This is why housing first independently of ability to work is not because a person is a prima donna, okay? Is to reconnect, so person connects with crown, then they are going back to the body. To believe a testimony. And to financially, the financial system cannot be built on ritual, satanic abuse, in slavery, yin depletion, which is essentially yang depletion, essentially depletion of all the veterans, the men, the warriors of World War. For Israel, it means death. If Israel does not change this right now, it means death. And it cannot be the image. Taurus, Libra can be the image of something. Okay, an image has essence, but it can be, ascendant of Israel is Libra. Okay, we had Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu, Sol in Libra. He has always the ability to make the image of something. Okay, but with Taurus you cannot do it. It has to be essence. You cannot make the image of something. The image is okay, but it has to be like the essence, not of how it looks like. It has to both look like it and be it. Okay? Also, when it comes to solutions, it doesn't go to. Taurus doesn't go to. It's a sign of union. Libra has polarity. Taurus is not a sign of two. Okay? And this is why we see what is going on here. And when they got that if Peter spoke against the WHO, I say bring Netherlands back to Netherlands, handsome Adma. Okay? You can understand that I was somewhat targeted. And you know what it does when they do this MK Ultra thingy? We talked about the Venus, the polarity is Mars, the ding. Kan niet. Blood doesn't flow, okay? Okay. And it's on purpose, because what solution they suggest to men? Either Viagra, you get a heart attack. Cardiac arrest, they want to kill you. Go to, so we provide for you. I saw advertisement for the Argaman, which is basically Rosicrucian, okay, organization that's offering to people to recover from sexual assault by receiving touch and love and security and turning, more to men. Now, first of all, person that was sexually assaulted, they need to get in touch with themselves and with the soil before they can, because you have to be able to say no. Oh, what I don't like, and this and that. It doesn't matter man or woman, okay? That's why when we worked on for sex positive education, it always begins with self-pleasure. Because otherwise you cannot communicate with each other, right? And what comes when they go there, which is, we all know what it is. It's not sex work. It is sex-espionage. Because who are all these men? The veterans, right? The intelligence, right? That they want the information. And later they're being extorted. So you get Viagra, more Viagra, more Viagra, more Viagra, cardiac arrest. That's it. Gute Nacht, Freunde. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, I'm recording. Okay. That's the thing. Or they have solution where they robotify the area. It's like you will be okay if you will be a robot. I don't know how it works with pleasure. Hmm? No. Okay. It's the same thing they do with the toe. They have hallux vagus. Okay, they say you need to have something inside your feet. Okay, some metal. They robotify the area. Now, how does it work holistically? I have no idea. But everything except to accept the feminine. Everything, God forbid that you will have an orgasm that both people want, both people enjoy, sexual pleasure. God forbid, but if you have that, that's it. Life is over. Cannot control you anymore. You love each other, you're sovereign, you know what you like, you respect each other's boundary, nobody control you anymore. Not the medical field, not the real estate cartels. You are way less likely, okay, if unless there's something that you are innerly repressing yourself, which would express itself in your intimate life, and then you would think you are cheating. You are not cheating. And of course, they make society very religious. So wearing spaghetti top is already means that you are a Babylon whore. Sex outside marriage lets you, God forbid, you test if you like same things in bed. Gay marriage or sex. Oh my God, people with the same genitalia can love each other. So in Netherlands, he has a very limited ability. If they did, okay, we will legalize everything. They basically legalized, Holocaust. We legalized Holocaust, okay? It's like when you have only a hammer, then every problem is a nail. But the nail doesn't, no problem, we have metals for that. Maybe from after the industrial society thing, so after the A-bombs, they took the fluoride to the teeth and the metals to the... and that's your medical investment, okay? That's your bowly-colies. Folks, that's your bowly-colies. That's the thing that you invested. That's the last stock to go down. Okay? Pluto is working its way. And Uranus speeds up the process. Now Israel, however that thing is relevant to state of Israel, by the way, that Edo guy has a son on conjuncting son of Israel, that's why. Okay. And the Mars in Leo, same as Israel, not same degree, but the same Mars. Okay. So either you stop for these things you do for women and you turn rage against the MK Ultra. How did Elon Musk say? A small x. Okay. He said himself, what surprises me the most is I see people rage for the machine. When those things are done to women, this is a rage for the machine. Okay? And how does that affect Israel at large? Well, Israel will die from that fuckery, okay? That if Israel doesn't change things radically and not like 1979 Iran, you know, Iran, they had to build a bomb. We have a rusty old bomb, the one we know in Dimona. This one we know. You see, me and Ruta have the same housing problem. Our bedroom is not safe. Okay, better sex for better world. Willing consent. It's very, very true and very, very fair that those that fuck with that are ending up giant losers. For those that don't, they don't care about winning or losing so much because they're too busy making love.